Today on the podcast, we're going to be looking at a listener question. It's been a while since we've done one of these. And the question for today is, what kind of questions can I use to sell laundry services to a total stranger? Again, the question is, the question was, that's for the person who sent me this question. By the way, his name is Anthony from Day Day, Abuja. So, what kind of questions can I use to sell laundry services to a total stranger? Now, this is the background behind the question. There was a time when on the podcast and on my radio show, I had been talking a lot about problem based openers or question based openers. The reason why I did that is because I think a fellow called and the person was in real estate. And I think the caller before him was also in real estate, a lady. And of course, we're having problems selling their real estate. Because in Abuja, there's this tradition going on right now. As at the date of this recording in December of 2025, lots of people are going out with flyers, walking up to total strangers and then trying to sell real estate. And by the way, that's not an effective approach. I've already made lots of podcast episodes about how you should approach someone with a question-based opener, with a problem-based opener, figure out if they're interested. If they're interested, then fix a time, fix a meeting so that you guys can discuss some more. When you discuss, you ask them lots of questions about themselves, lots of questions about why they want to get real estate as an investment opportunity or whether they want to buy real estate for home ownership. And it's only after you've gone through all those that you now have enough information to say, oh, you know what, based on what we've discussed, we have a few pieces of land in Maitama, in Gwarimpa, in Guzape, in, wherever that you can have a look at. So how about so Chief, what's your Thursday like? Can we go and look at some properties on Thursday? So that is the process that I think must have taken me maybe 2 or 3 weeks, to flesh this out over the air. That's for the radio show. Bosha, that's what I introduced the whole crew to. That's my listeners. Then Anthony from Day Day, he now sent a question. I said, okay, you're talking about question-based openers. You're talking about problem-based openers. You showed us how this thing applies to people in real estate. What about people like us who do laundry? We wash clothes. That's all we do. What kind of problem-based conversation starters, problem-based question-based conversation starters, openers can apply to people like him, like Anthony in Day Day. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, if you love talking about these sorts of things, how do you start conversations with total strangers so that you can grow your business? Then subscribe to the podcast because these are the kinds of things that we talk about every other day on the podcast. So subscribe on Spotify, on YouTube, or Apple, any player of your choice. And if you'd love to connect with me, you can send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the podcast, and you can find me on LinkedIn. That's for those of you who prefer LinkedIn. All right. So, where was I? So, the kind of questions that you can use if you're like Anthony from Day Day, and you sell laundry services, and you want to start talking to total strangers. Now, when Anthony sent me this question, by the way, there's a backstory behind this name because Anthony already knows me from the podcast, and he had tried to get me to answer before. And I told him that, look, stop asking me these kind of questions. Go and check AI. Like, you listen to the podcast enough. You already understand. Spiritually, you already understand. When I say question-based openers, problem-based openers, you already know where we're coming from. So, invest in your own development. Stop looking at me as if I'm a guru that will provide you all the answers. You have a phone. The phone has Google Gemini on it. Or you can download ChatGPT. You can download Claude. You can download, what's it called? Is it Perplexity? Perplexity or whatever. You can download Copilot. All of these things have free package. So do some small research by yourself. So that's what I told Anthony. No, but of course I wasn't this harsh. I told him in a more, nicer way because, my first background was in law. So, now when you come up studying law, you learn some kind diplomacy, some kind tact. So I told him. So only for me to be on the radio show now, and then stylishly, he now sent a message to the producer, and the producer handed over the question to me to read over on the air. At first, I didn't realize it was him, but later on, I figured it out. And I said, see this guy, he's trying to be sharp. But anyway, no problem. So I decided I was going to use this as a case study to demonstrate live to everybody else how you can use AI for ideation. So basically, this question that Anthony from Day Day asked, I took it, copy and paste into Google Gemini, and then it gave a couple of responses. And I just wanted to show people that look, see, when I say that AI tools are good for ideation, I'm not just blowing smoke up you understand? Like, I'm being real here. This thing works. It's not perfect, but we can get lots of usable answers. And in the podcast episode that we had just before this one, I spoke about how execution is key. Idea and strategies is not, look, see, how will I put this thing? Look, we're in 2025 now. Information is cheap. Information is free. It's not hard again. It's not like 20 years ago that if you needed information, you have to go and join Lagos Chamber of Commerce so that you can get introduced to the right people. Or you have to go to cyber cafe, go and pay time because you didn't have data and internet was slow. You buy 1 hour and you use 45 minutes just to log into your Yahoo account. We've gone beyond that time now. We have these super powered computers in our pockets. And what are we doing? We're using this thing to watch Netflix. That's all we're doing. Netflix. And then sport betting. That's all we're doing with our phones. Use these things to grow your business. Ideas are cheap. Execution is the main thing now. Execution. Some people say these things are not perfect and that they only get it right like 6 out of 10. And so you ran a search, you wanted some ideas. He gave you 10, only 6 of them made sense. What are you complaining to me for? Did you go and apply the 6? Apply the 6 now. See the ones that work. Then you take feedback, you take dressing, you reiterate, you improve. Anyway, sorry, this thing gets me angry. Anyway, so I just took the thing, copy, and then I now paste inside Gemini, and then I ran it. Piap. Of course, I use the free version, and the free version is very, very fast. The paid versions, is it Google Gemini 3 Pro or something like that? Paid version. That one likes to take its time, the thing we think, before it gives you an answer. Because Google asked me to test it out for a while. And after they tested it, I was like, you know what? I don't need all these advanced features. I beg, restore my free thing. So they gave me back the free thing. So the thing responded. And then it gave a lengthy response, a very long response. So like I said, whenever you ask any of these questions, it will try and give you as many of ideas as possible, 10, 15, 20. You now, this is what you do. The ones that don't make sense, delete. The ones that make sense, keep. Then start from the bottom, start working your way down, start trying to apply. Know how. Except if you're an idiot. Know how. You start making progress on one or two things. You will. So that's exactly what I did. Give me a long response. I'm not going to read out the long response. In fact, I can't even read it out because I had to copy and paste the notes. So I've already deleted all the ones that I didn't think made sense. Then for the ones that now made sense, I know how to paraphrase it so that the thing will sound natural to me. Some of you use AI tools for ideation, and you say, ugh, I would never say that. And so, if you would never say that, then paraphrase it now in the way that the thing will sound sweet in your mouth. You don't just say, oh, I will never say that, and then you leave it. Try now. Reword it. Try and see how the thing can roll off your mouth. And then start trying it out in the field and see. So these are some basic things to have in mind when you're using AI tools for ideation. Number one, delete the responses that don't make sense. Number two, for the ones that make sense, tailor them to you, rephrase them. Make it suit your personality, make it suit your cadence, how fast or slow you talk, or how your pacing. Rephrase it, let the thing suit your tone, let it suit your speech. Eh? Edit it to sound like how you would naturally say something. Then, like I've been saying since this episode started, go and apply, go and execute. Then note the feedback. The ones that worked, good. The ones that didn't work, okay, take dressing. You now use it to now edit the future prompts that you're going to do when next you're coming up with ideas. It's that simple. Use these expensive supercomputers that you have in your pocket. Use this thing to grow your business and stop waiting for gurus to give you answer. I'm not saying don't reach out to me. That's why I give you my phone numbers. So please do reach out. But honestly speaking, your time would be better served when you've done some basic research, you've tried one or two things, you hook somewhere, then you now go and call a consultant to try and help you unravel something. Like I was talking to one of my colleagues who is in securities regulation. That is, people who help you go and launch your product. Sorry, like let's say you want to take your company public on the stock exchange, or you want to come up with investment products. So one of my classmates who's a lawyer who does all those sorts of things. And she was complaining basically about these sorts of issues. That some people come and they say they want to do this, they want to do this, they want to do that, and they haven't done any research at all. They haven't done anything. They show up and then they just want you, lawyer, to now answer everything for them from beginning to end. They haven't done any work on their own part. Anyway, sorry, don't mind me. Let me just get back to the question at hand. So, okay, so Google Gemini. When I took the question, what kind of questions can I use to sell laundry services to a total stranger? This is what Gemini responded. Gemini said, that's an excellent sales challenge. To sell a service like laundry to a total stranger, you need to shift the focus from selling laundry itself to selling back their time, their peace of mind, and convenience. Excuse me. I was very happy when I saw that Google Gemini said that, because I've been saying it time and time on the podcast there. Because apart from Anthony from Day Day, another person has also reached out to me. They sell laundry. So I've been trying to get them to understand that, look, you think you are selling laundry, but you are not selling laundry. Even before Google Gemini said it, I already told them that, look, I honestly think what you are selling when you have a laundry service is, I think you are selling peace of mind. I think you are selling convenience. At least in Abuja and Lagos, I think that is the main thing. Because think about it. How many people have house girl nowadays? How many? Then you have kids, 3, 4 kids, and you're juggling a lot, you know. So it's just not very convenient, running the laundry, then ironing, and okay, I don't know how else to explain it. If you have a laundry service, it is not clean clothes that you are selling, please. It is convenience and it is peace of mind. Which is why another person who reached out to me, I advised the person that, you know what, I really think you can try to break into the banking circles. If you approach and Zenith Bank or any of these places in central business district, find out when they're having their their weekly meeting. They allow you to make a presentation. I really think it can work. I really think it can work. And you're selling convenience. Now look, if you guys are down, Starting off, I'm offering 10% discount, for the first 10 people, and this is how it will work. I will show up here every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday. All you have to do is, if you're interested, drop your clothes with the security guard. I'll come and pick it up with the security guard on Monday. On Wednesday, your clothes will be here clean. You don't have to drive out of your way. You don't have to worry about how to swing laundry services in with school runs, with this, with this, with that, with that. You're selling convenience. You're selling peace of mind. So I was happy that Gemini mentioned that. But for those of you who don't who don't do laundry, let me speak to you guys. You are never selling XYZ, whatever it is that you do. You are always selling a result. Please, I repeat, if you have a chickery, it is not chickens that you're selling. You're always selling a result. If you sell Binatone fans, it is not really fans that you're selling. You're selling a result. No matter what you do, you're selling a result. So, for a sales coach like me, what I sell is not training. What I sell is greater revenues. I'm selling the fact that I can get your sales team to start doing different behavior, and it would lead to more money coming in. So it is not the training itself that I am selling. There are some consultants, there are some trainers who think it is training that they're selling. No, you're not selling training, you're selling a result. And if you're an architect, I'm just thinking of architects because the guy who was in front of our family today in church was an architect and he was doing family Thanksgiving. One thing I noticed that the guy had 5 kids. I look at them and I say, 5. And I did try you in this Abuja. How do you guys cope? And then they look young. But then the firstborn is already a teenager. I say, hi, this is the benefit of starting early. See my age mates with 5. 2 of them already teenage. See me here, carrying small picking up and down. Oh, I should have started in my youth. Where was I? He was an architect. So for those of you who are architects, it is not house plan that you are selling. You're selling people's dream homes. You're selling self-expression. You're selling, I don't know, if you're an architect, what are the benefits? But it is not the designs on paper that you're actually selling. So no matter what it is that you do, you are never really selling XYZ. You are selling a result. Okay, so let's continue. Then Gemini also said the best questions will quickly uncover their current laundry pain points and then allow them to sell themselves on your solution. Sorry. Okay, ignore what I just read. I think because I was deleting stuff, so I think I deleted too much of the sentence. Yeah, I think I deleted too much. Anyway, so after all that preamble now, eventually Google Gemini got to the point where I started making suggestions. So one of the suggestions was, how often do you feel like you are running behind on having clean clothes? Now, of course, I wouldn't say it that way. So I just rephrase it the way that somebody like me would ask, which is, I would just ask the person, are you often behind on clean clothes? So if I was there in Zenith Bank and I'm the one who's making the presentation, that is how I will start it. So thank you very much for having me here today. Let me not take up too much of your time. My name is Tavish Mayede. I run so laundry services. But before we begin, I want to ask all of you here, how many of you are often behind when it comes to clean clothes? Because I know that some of you, when you even woke up today, you are wondering, what is it that I'll wear? Where is that my favorite black shirt? Where is that my favorite purple shirt? Say, oh, it is with the laundry guy. Be honest with me, I know some of you here have that problem. And then people will smile. 1 or 2 people will chuckle. Once they laugh, I know that okay, I'm in the zone. That people are understanding me, they are feeling me. But you can see that this is a problem-based question. Are you often behind on clean clothes? How many of you are behind on clean clothes? How many of you are struggling with your laundry? Simple. Question-based opener, problem-based opener. It's getting the conversation flowing. It's getting people interested. It's getting some ears to open. I'm making progress. I'm making small inroad. That's just one. And this came from Google Gemini. I didn't edit anything. Oh. I just took exactly what this guy said, what Anthony from Day Day said. I just literally copied it and pasted it and then hit send. See one good suggestion. Meanwhile, Anthony and other people are trying to stylishly get me to answer their question by force, even though I'm telling you that, look, you don't really have to wait to hear from me. There's something in your pocket that will give you usable advice. Usable. That you can take and run now. Some people say AI is not perfect. Like, see, what we're talking about sales. It's just sales and marketing we're talking about. Oh. It's not brain surgery. If we're talking about medicine, if we're talking about brain surgery, then yes, I won't tell you to go and consult ChatGPT because it might say rubbish and then you go and kill somebody's child. But this is just sales. The idea is that it will come up with, like, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is that you will waste your time trying something that could have never worked. It's just sales. Stop being afraid. Another suggestion. Have you ever had a favorite piece of clothing ruined or shrunk in the washing machine? That's what Gemini said. Of course, me, I wouldn't put it that way. So, the way I would rephrase it is, has your laundry person damaged any of your clothes before? So, let's say back to Zenith Bank now. I'm inside Zenith Bank. I've done my preamble. I've asked the first question. A few people chuckled. That'll be my next question. I know that there's somebody here. You have your favorite white shirt. You gave it to your washman. By the time your washerman brought it back, your white shirt was now pink or it was turquoise. I know it has happened to somebody here. Abby, you can see question based opener, problem based opener. I'm striking a chord. I'm connecting with some people on some problems that they have been having with their laundry. It's giving me hope that I might be able to sell some of my services before I leave this Zenith Bank banking hall. The suggestion, where did suggestion come from? It came from Google Gemini. All I just did was I changed it to sound the way that it should flow from my own mouth. Of course, Google Gemini gave some other suggestions. Are there any items like bed linens, blankets, or formal wear that you always wish someone else would handle? Of course, I wouldn't say it in that fancy, long way. I would say it much more shorter. Like, do you handle the bed linens by yourself? Do you handle the duvets by yourself? Do you handle the formal wear by yourself? I'll just ask you straight like that and then continue with the question from there. Because, obviously, for those of us who have washing machines, we understand. Like, if you have duvets, not all duvets fit inside the washing machine. And for those that do, they're kind of thick, so it doesn't quite give a good wash. So, no how. When you have laundry, when you run laundry services, and you're asking somebody about duvets and all the other things that go on the bed, whatever those things are called, you're quickly going to get into problems that this person is having, real life problems that this person is having with their laundry services. And you can see that this is a question that was suggested by Google Gemini. All I've done is just try and make it sound the way that it will be sweet in my own mouth, that it will be natural in my own mouth. That if I was selling laundry services, I can use when I'm inside Zenith Bank in the banking hall with their members of staff during their morning meeting. So, like I said, this thing was long. There were plenty and plenty and plenty. All the ones that don't apply to the Nigerian context, I deleted. All the ones that I thought sounded too fancy, I deleted. But at the end of the day, out of what, 10, 15 suggestions, can you see I found 3 or 4 that I can actually use so that if I was in the business of selling laundry and I'm able to squeeze my way into a corporate place, I can make a small presentation during a staff meeting. And the 3 questions will allow me to be able to make a good presentation. Or if I'm talking to somebody one on one, I can use any of these questions to get the conversation going and figure out what is important to them. Has your washerman ever ruined, ever damaged your favorite clothes before? That can get somebody on a tangent. It can get somebody on the story. In fact, if you use that one on my wife will tell you about the time. This my wife will be talking now. She said that in fact, it was this wonderful shirt that I got from UK. It was TM Lewin. Maybe it was it Mark Spencer or something. Anyway, some nice shirt. Really, really lovely. It was white. My husband was supposed to do the laundry. By the time I came back from work, my white shirt was now pink, and the thing has never been the same again. And I'm still angry with my husband to date. And then to make matters worse, when I stopped doing it at home and I gave it to the laundry guy in Zone E, they ended up, when they were ironing it, they didn't iron it inside out. And so my grey trousers now has a very shiny silver sheen. And I don't like that shiny look. No, I'm being real here. This is stuff that has happened, between me and my wife. So anybody who is asking her about laundry issues, that is how they'll collect business from her hand. Because as far as she's concerned, my husband destroyed my favorite shirt. My current laundry person destroyed my favorite green, so I say green, gray trousers. Question-based openers, problem-based openers gets the other person talking about the problem that they are facing that your product or your service might be able to solve. And with that, you're able to transition into a business conversation, into a sales conversation. And then Google Gemini also mentioned that based on the answers that the people give, you will now be able to come up with a trial close that you can use to lure them in. So, if you're talking to that woman who says, my husband destroyed my favorite white shirt, this expensive shirt that I got from the UK, it is from there you'll be able to do a trial close. Oh, madam, there might be something we can do. Do you still have that shirt handy? Let me have a look at it. Madam brings the shirt. You say, madam, it's true. Oga has destroyed this shirt, but you know what? Let me have a look at it with some hydrogen peroxide and something, something, something. Let me see what we can do. But madam, because of these sorts of problems, this is the reason why in our own laundry service, what we do is we color separate and we wash with bleach and we wash with sodium, whatever, so that the colors never mix, the colors never run. I would love to see how we can make sure you never face this problem again. Are there any item of clothes that we can use now? Mommy, let us just test so that I can show you that you will never suffer this kind of problem again. You can see that that's a soft trial close. Getting how to commit, small. You didn't say bring all the load. You just said, do you have a couple of things like this? Just bring. And let me show you how you never have to worry about this issue again. Small close, soft close, trial close. You do this one good, you can now come back and say, in fact, mommy, why are we talking now? If you're happy about this, just bring the whole load. Let's just take it that I'm your guy from now on. I'm your laundry guy. So, Google Gemini was even suggesting that based on the answer that the madam gives in response to any of these questions, here are some trial closes that you can do to close the sale. It's already 30 minutes. Let me bring this thing to a close. So, like I said, those of you that are afraid, stop being afraid. This is just sales and marketing. It is not brain surgery. If it was brain surgery, I wouldn't advise you people to go straight to Gemini because it might give you rubbish advice. And once you open somebody's skull using the information, you will kill somebody's child. But it's not brain surgery. It is sales. If you make a mistake, the worst that will happen is we have wasted maybe 20, 30 minutes of our time. That is the worst that can happen. So realistically speaking, There's absolutely no problem with taking these expensive devices that we have. In fact, the young man that was sitting in front of me today, the one with 5 children, I noticed that he's using Samsung phone. And I say, even with 5 children, you're using a phone of 2.5 million naira. And I'm sure on the phone, all he does is just watch CNN and do sport betting. So, if you're like this guy, your phone is 2.5 million. Eh? Even if it's not that expensive, your phone is 750K. These are things that you can do to move your business forward. Your phone is not just for Netflix. Your phone is also for ideation for your business. AI tools are good for ideation. Yes, it's not perfect. Some people will say, I'll give you pass mark only 40%. No problem. 40% means if it gives you 10 responses, only 4 made sense. Good. Take those 4. Go and apply. Remember, nowadays, information is cheap. Information is free. So information is not the problem anymore. Execution is the main thing. So use your AI tools. Come up with good suggestions so that you have more, how do I put it now? More avenue, more room when you're starting conversations with people. Because if you don't, for those of you who sell laundry, what will happen is you will always start the conversation with how much do you charge? And of course, that's not a good way to start this conversation. So, madam, I sell laundry services. How much do you charge? That's the problem. You're already being locked into a commodity. We say, madam, good morning, blah, blah, blah. I'm your neighbor from uh, block 2. Um, I have laundry services. Oh, by the way, madam, I was wondering, has any, sorry, which question did we use again? Has any laundry person damaged any of your favorite clothes before? Give yourself more options in the conversation. Anyway, it's 30 minutes, so let me just bring it to a close. And I hope I've been able to convince you guys using Anthony's questions. Anthony's question: what kind of question can I use to sell laundry services to a total stranger? I hope I've been able to convince you guys that AI tools are okay. They are decent when it comes to coming up with ideas for handling conversations, growing your business, handling your sales. So please, no matter what business you do, architecture, law, medicine, accounting, carpentry, chicken, fast food, laundry, selling mobile phones, selling Bibles, selling cars, whatever, please take me up on the test. Go and try with your AI tool. If you think it failed you, reach out to me. Let's have this conversation. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you very much for listening. Remember, if you want to be in touch, you can send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 08064662140. So thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you all some other time.